As we're heading into the second half of the year, I thought I would recap my top 10 movies that I saw in theaters during the first half of 2025. It's a This is the most I've seen in a theater since before pandemic started. I used to see a lot more, so this is not a comprehensive list. It's just a list based on what I saw in a theater. So, kicking off at number, we have the Nicolas Cage film, The Surfer, which was a crazy film. You know, I'm a big fan of Nicolas Cage. I find him to be a national treasure. And this was a crazy descent into madness, upper class versus lower class, haves versus have nots story, which is just, it was maybe not for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. Moving on to number 9, we have Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, which was a crazy action film. For some reason, I've really enjoyed this entire series. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of Tom Cruise personally. I think he's a little weird, but as far as like a big time movie star, like old style movie star, he's kind of one of the few that are still around. And this really was pretty crazy. I find it's like the American version of James Bond. There's gadgets, there's action, there's big set pieces, surprising bits of emotion. And I feel they could do more films with him, but I kind of hope that this is the last one, at least like with this cast. Coming in number 8, we have the new Pixar film Elio, which is very touching and beautifully animated. And once the aliens show up and get involved, the story really takes off. It's a story that we've seen before. The boy the child who's an outsider doesn't seem to fit in anywhere, looking for where he fits in the world. It's just really well done and deserves a larger audience than it's getting. Coming in number 7, we have The Ballerina, which really doesn't tread any new ground, but it's still a great over-the-top action film, which has a simple story, but it's still effective. And drew me in, and it feels like an extension of the Wick universe, but it doesn't feel like necessarily a copy of it. I love seeing Keanu Reeves in there. Not sure if we really needed as much of him as we did. I probably would have been happy with just the one scene at the dance school, but still, it was fantastic. Anna de Armas was fantastic, and she really held her own as the star of the film. So this is great. If you like action movies, you got to check this one out. Next up, we have Thunderbolts. This was actually a bit of a surprise because I haven't really been as impressed with a lot of the Marvel output of late. This one really hit some really good emotional beats. It hit some good action beats. It was surprisingly involving, and I really actually cared about the characters. It was a lot of fun, and I actually hope to see a sequel to this, to see some more with this cast of characters. Coming in at number 5, we have Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17, which I thought was another great upper class versus lower class story. There's some crazy scenes and stuff in it. I found it very similar to his Snowpiercer, this would be a really good double feature with. But there's some great performances, some great set design, some great world building. It's definitely worth checking out. Coming in number 4, we have The Life of Chuck from director Mike Flanagan and Steven Spielberg. This was a bit of a surprise for me, as I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. It's more of an experience than it is a traditional narrative, since it's told in 3 acts going backwards in time. It was really affecting, and it's how did I see it described? It was epically intimate, or something something similar to that. There's something about this that it shows how you could have an impact on the world around you, even if you don't know it. It's really something that it's kind of hard to make, because I think love it or hate it, everyone's gonna have a different reaction to this, because it's not like your traditional film. But I really like this. I found it very affecting, and definitely worth it. Number 3, we have Bring Her Back, which was an intense trauma dump. It's like how much are you able to handle? How much can you take of like just trauma being unloaded? Um, it's really like kind of like an endurance test. It was very intense, and it was again not quite what I expected. I thought it was would be something a little different than what it was, but I really like this. Uh, it's the feel bad movie of the year, so make sure you're prepared for it. Again, it's not for everyone. Number two on my top 10 so for the first half is a film that seems to be a bit divisive lately. Recent release, 28 years later. I'm sorry we never got a 28 months, but I'm a big fan of this franchise, and Danny Boyle and Alex Garland really knocked this one out of the park. There's the scene that everyone is talking about. I'm not going to really delve into that here, but I love the different take on the zombie slash infected lore and the world building of this, and how the characters are crafted here, because it goes in directions you don't really expect, or maybe you don't want to, because you might be expecting more of a straightforward zombie film, which this really isn't. But there's some great work in it. Ray Fiennes does a great job as his character. He brings a lot more to it than maybe I expected, or like maybe it's just the angle that the character was written. I don't want to really say too much if you haven't seen it yet. But the young actor that plays Spike does a really good job of holding the center of the movie. It's really if you go in open minded, you might come away really liking or being surprised at how much you like it. There is a strange ending. The last couple minutes of the movie, it kind of takes a left turn, which again maybe should have expected it, because it ties back to the beginning of the film, and it's going to lead us into probably the next film, which I believe is due in January, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Then coming in at number one is Sinners. This movie is fantastic. There's so much going on in this, from the music to the characters to the way everything is designed. Again, I didn't realize that it was a vampire movie when I first went in to see it. I know it's probably pretty crazy, but it is what it is. It's a wonderful film. Michael B. Jordan does a great job playing the dual roles, and differentiating them so you can actually feel like that they're different and unique characters. But there's so much story going on, so much commentary going on, that I feel like this movie is really. I've only seen it the one time, but I really feel that this movie is one of the ones that's really going to reward multiple viewings. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check this one out. And that rounds out my top 10 for the first half of 2025. Let me know what other movies you think should have been in the top 10. Granted, this is my top 10. It's not really about what's the best movies are. It's what movies I like the most based on what I've seen theatrically so far this year. But everyone's got different tastes and whatnot. So let me know what you think, and let me know what movies you saw in the theater this year that you really liked.